honorable ministers, distinguished guests, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to today's ceremony. To begin with, I would request both the Prime Ministers to sign and exchange the India-Japan joint statement. I would now request the two Prime Ministers to come to the podium, please. Excellencies, we will witness the exchange of 6 documents between India and Japan. First, we have the Memorandum of Cooperation in the field of cybersecurity for information sharing, capacity building programs, and cooperation in the area of cybersecurity. This will be exchanged from the Japanese side by His Excellency Suzuki Satoshi, Ambassador of Japan to India, and on the Indian side by Shri Harshvardhan Shringla, Foreign Secretary of India. Next, 7 Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA loans worth rupees 20,400 crores for projects in connectivity, water supply and sewerage, horticulture, healthcare, and biodiversity conservation in various states. This will be exchanged from the Japanese side by His Excellency Suzuki Satoshi, Ambassador of Japan to India, and on the Indian side by Shri Ajay Seth, Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs. Next, we have diplomatic notes for amendment in Annex 2 of India-Japan Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement (CEPA) and protocol for amendment of Article 7 of Implementing Agreement under India-Japan CEPA. This will be exchanged from the Japanese side by His Excellency Suzuki Satoshi and Shri BVR Subramaniam, Commerce Secretary of India. Next, we have a Memorandum of Cooperation on Decentralized Domestic Wastewater Management. This will be exchanged on the Japanese side by His Excellency Suzuki Satoshi, the Ambassador of Japan to India, and Shri Pankaj Kumar, Secretary in the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Number 5 is India-Japan Industrial Competitiveness Partnership Roadmap. This will be signed on the Japanese side by Mr. Hirose Naoshi, Vice Minister for International Affairs, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, and on the Indian side by Shri Anurag Jain, Secretary, Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Number 6 is a Memorandum of Cooperation on Sustainable Urban Development. This will be signed on the Japanese side by Mr. Okanishi Yasuhiro, Vice Minister for International Affairs, Ministry of Land Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, and on the Indian side by Shri Manoj Joshi, Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from these agreements, the outcomes of this summit include launch of Clean Energy Partnership for cooperation in areas such as electric vehicles, storage systems, including batteries, electric vehicle charging infrastructure, development of solar energy, hydrogen, ammonia, etc. Number 2 is an announcement of 5 trillion yen, which translates into 3,20,000 crore rupees investment target This follows from the Investment Promotion Partnership of 2014, when both sides had agreed for Japanese yen 3.5 trillion investment during 2014-2019. Number 3 is a Sustainable Development Initiative for the northeastern region of India, including initiative for strengthening bamboo value chain. Excellencies, this concludes the exchange of agreement ceremony. I now request the spokesperson of the External Affairs Ministry to conduct the proceedings.
Distinguished Prime Ministers, members of both delegation, friends of the media, we will now begin with the press statements. May I now request Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to make his statement. Sir, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency,
Prime Minister Kishida, distinguished delegates,
नमस्कार.
good evening.
जापान के प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में प्रथम
It is
भारत
a
यात्रा
great
पर
pleasure for me to extend a welcome to Prime Minister Kishida on his first visit to India as Prime
कुछ
Minister
दिन
of
पहले
Japan.
जापान में आए भूकंप
I
के कारण
express
जान माल की क्षति के
my
लिए
condolences to you on
पूरे
behalf
भारत
of
की ओर
all
से
of India for the loss of
संवेदनाएं
lives
व्यक्त
and
करता
property
हूं.
in Japan in the earthquake that took place a few days
प्रधानमंत्री
ago.
किशिदा
Friends,
भारत के
Prime
पुराने
Minister
मित्र
Kishida
रहे.
has been an old friend of India.
विदेश मंत्री की
As
भूमिका में
foreign minister,
वे कई बार
he
भारत आए
has visited India
और
several
मुझे
times,
उनके
and
साथ
I have had
विचारों का
the
आदान प्रदान करने का
opportunity to
अवसर
exchange
मिला.
views with him.
पिछले कुछ वर्षों में
Over the last several years,
भारत-जापान स्पेशल
the India-Japan
global
Special
partnership
Strategic and Global
जो
Partnership
अभूतपूर्व प्रगति देखने
has
को
made
मिली,
unprecedented progress,
प्रधानमंत्री किशिदा
and Prime Minister Kishida has
महत्वपूर्ण
played
भूमिका
an important role in
आज की
this.
हमारी समिट का
Our
आयोजन
annual summit today
एक
has
बहुत
been
महत्वपूर्ण
organized
समय
at
हुआ.
a very critical juncture.
विश्व अभी भी
The world is
COVID-19
still
और
struggling
उसके दुष्प्रभावों
with
से
COVID-19
जूझ
and
रहा है.
its side effects.
वैश्विक
The global economic recovery process
अभी भी
is
अड़चनें आ
still
रही हैं.
facing various obstacles.
जियोपॉलिटिकल घटनाएं भी
Geopolitical
नई
events
चुनौतियां
are also
प्रस्तुत कर रही हैं.
posing new
इस
challenges.
संदर्भ में
In this context,
भारत जापान
further
पार्टनरशिप
strengthening
और
India-Japan
गहन करना
partnership
सिर्फ दोनों देशों
is
के लिए ही
important
महत्वपूर्ण
not
नहीं
just for our two countries.
इससे इंडो पैसिफिक
It will
क्षेत्र और
encourage
विश्व के
peace,
स्तर पर भी
prosperity,
प्रॉस्पेरिटी
and stability in the Indo-Pacific and also at a global level. Our mutual trust,
हमारे
our civilizational ties,
डेमोक्रेसी
and our shared values such as democracy, freedom and the rule of law are at the heart of our relations and strengthen them.
आज की हमारी चर्चा ने
Our discussions
हमारे
today
आपसी सहयोग
have paved the way
नई ऊंचाइयों तक
for
ले जाने का
taking our
मार्ग
mutual cooperation to new heights.
हमने द्विपक्षीय मुद्दों के अलावा
We exchange
कई
views
क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक
not
मुद्दों
just
पर
on bilateral
विचारों का
issues,
आदान-प्रदान
but
किया.
also on several
हमने
regional
United
and
Nations
global
और अन्य
issues.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मंचों
We
पर भी
have also decided
अपना
to
समन्वय
increase
बढ़ाने
our
का
coordination
निर्णय लिया.
at the United Nations
Friends,
and in other
भारत-जापान
international
आर्थिक
forums.
पार्टनरशिप में
Friends,
पिछले कई
we
वर्षों
have
में
seen over the last few
अभूतपूर्व प्रगति
years
हुई है.
unprecedented progress in
दोनों देशों के
India-Japan
business में
economic partnership.
जबरदस्त विश्वास
There is
है,
tremendous trust
उत्साह है.
and enthusiasm
जापान भारत
among
में सबसे बड़े
businesses in
investment
both
में से
countries.
एक
Japan
विश्वस्त
is
साथी,
one of the biggest investors in
dedicated
India, a
freight
trusted
corridor
partner.
और मुंबई अहमदाबाद
Japan's contribution has been significant in our flagship projects such as the dedicated freight corridor and the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail project. We are very grateful to Japan for its contribution. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail project has made good progress. Both countries are working on this, adopting a one team, one project approach. This project is a great example of India-Japan partnership. I am very pleased that the 3.5 trillion Japanese yen investment target set in 2014 has been exceeded. We have decided to increase our ambition in this
आने वाले
area.
5 वर्षों में 5 ट्रिलियन येन 5 ट्रिलियन येन मतलब करीब 3,20,000 करोड़ रुपए का नया टारगेट तय किया है। आप सभी जानते हैं कि पिछले कुछ सालों में भारत ने व्यापक आर्थिक रिफॉर्म अपनाए हैं और ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में बड़ी छलांग लगाई है। आज भारत मेक इन इंडिया फॉर द वर्ल्ड के लिए असीम संभावनाएं प्रस्तुत करता है। इस संदर्भ में जापानीज कंपनीज बहुत समय से एक प्रकार से हमारी ब्रांड एम्बेसडर्स रही है। हमारे बीच टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन सेक्टर्स में पार्टनरशिप में नए आयाम जुड़ रहे हैं। हम जापानी कंपनीज को भारत में अनुकूल माहौल उपलब्ध कराने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं। आज लॉन्च किया गया इंडिया जापान इंडस्ट्रियल कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस पार्टनरशिप रोड मैप, इसके लिए एक कारगर मैकेनिज्म सिद्ध होगा। जापान के साथ हमारी स्किल्स पार्टनरशिप भी इस दिशा में कारगर भूमिका निभाएगी। फ्रेंड्स, भारत और जापान दोनों ही Japan understand the importance of ensuring a secure, trusted, predictable and stable supply of energy. ये सस्टेनेबल इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ के लिए
This will be
उस लक्ष्य को पाने और क्लाइमेट चेंज की समस्या से निपटने के लिए बहुत ही अनिवार्य है। हमारी क्लीन एनर्जी पार्टनरशिप इस दिशा में लिया गया एक निर्णायक कदम साबित हुआ। कई अन्य महत्वपूर्ण बिंदुओं पर भी आज हमारे बीच सहमति बनी है। प्रधानमंत्री किशिदा की यह यात्रा भारत जापान स्पेशल स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड ग्लोबल पार्टनरशिप में नए आयाम जोड़ने में सफल रही।
to the India-Japan Special Strategic and Global Partnership. Once again, I would like to express a very warm welcome to you and your delegation in India, Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request His Excellency, Mr. Kishida Fumio, Prime Minister of Japan, to make his press statement. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
I am so delighted to have chosen India as the first country to visit for the purpose of bilateral diplomacy since assuming the post of Prime Minister, also in the 70th anniversary year for diplomatic relations between Japan and India. I am pleased to have been able to further deepen the relationship of trust with Prime Minister Modi through face-to-face intensive discussion. As Prime Minister Modi has mentioned, he has given us very kind words of condolences for the recent earthquake that hit Japan. Thank you very much for your kind words. The world at the moment is jolted by the developments shaking the very foundation of the international order. As such, Japan and India, sharing fundamental values such as democracy and rule of law, should therefore more than ever work in close partnership through bilateral relations and through fora such as the Quad to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific. We exchanged views at length in a small group today in an in-depth manner on the situation in Ukraine. The Russian invasion of Ukraine is a grave incident shaking the very essence of the international order. We must respond in a firm and resolute manner. I conveyed such thoughts again to Prime Minister Modi, emphasizing that unilateral attempt to change the status quo by force must never be allowed in any region. Prime Minister Modi and I reaffirmed that we should seek peaceful resolution of conflict based on international law. And also, because of these developments, it is important for our two nations to further advance efforts to realize the free and open Indo-Pacific. Japan in close coordination with India, will work to call for immediate cessation of hostilities and to resolve the situation through dialogue, as well as providing humanitarian assistance to Ukraine and the neighboring countries. Japan has already decided on $10 billion emergency $100 million emergency humanitarian assistance to Ukraine and the surrounding countries, but we will provide further additional assistance. We also agreed to strongly oppose the attempts to unilaterally change the status quo by force or exercising economic coercion in the East and the South China Seas. The two of us confirmed to work in partnership on regional issues, including North Korea. Prime Minister Modi assured me his support when I asked for the continued understanding and cooperation on the abduction issue. On global issues, as the developments in Ukraine unfold, voices are raised asking for a new framework of international order. Both of us confirmed together to build momentum towards United Nations Security Council reform, utilizing the G4 process as well. I spoke of my resolve to lead the international efforts toward creating a world free of nuclear weapons, and we agreed to continue to have dialogue with India. We had broad-based discussion on how to reinforce our bilateral relationship. On the security front, both of us welcomed that our bilateral partnership is bolstered, for instance, by the application of the Japan-India AXA in the joint training exercise, as well as increasingly active multilateral partnership and exercises. We agreed to hold the second Japan-India 2+2 meeting at the earliest time, building on such concrete cooperation.
We welcome the signing of the Memorandum of Cooperation in the field of cybersecurity, the building of a secure and reliable 5G network, diversification and ensuring resilience of supply chains, among others, are areas where, together with Prime Minister Modi, I will be addressing common economic security challenges. India is an important partner in the new form of capitalism that I am promoting. Today, we agreed to set a target of JPY 5 trillion in investment in India over the next 5 years. Through the Japan-India Industrial Competitiveness Partnership, among others, we will further develop India-Japan economic relations, which has great latent potential. New impetus is needed to restore the economies hit by COVID-19. In the area of climate change, Japan-India cooperation will be promoted through the India-Japan Clean Energy Partnership announced today and other initiatives toward a carbon-neutral, diverse and realistic energy transition across the world. And we hope to push forward with Japan-India cooperation through the India-Japan Clean Energy Partnership, which you announced today. I believe this will also contribute to energy security. The exchange of notes for over 300 billion in yen loans has just been signed. We will continue to work together to back up India's sustainable growth. Cooperation on the flagship Japan-India high-speed rail project and the development of India's northeastern region, which will enhance regional connectivity, will also be steadily implemented. The ban on the export of Japanese apples to India has been lifted this time, and the simplification of procedures for the import of Indian mangoes to Japan has been realized. I am happy that the people of the two countries can now feel even closer to each other through fruit. We will make the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Japan and India an opportunity for Prime Minister Modi and I to work together to promote people-to-people exchanges, including between youths in sports, tourism, and the specified skilled worker program in the post-COVID period, so that we can make this the backbone for strengthening Japan-India relations over the long term. I will make my visit to India an opportunity for the leaders to resume annual reciprocal visits, which have not materialized for some time. And I will work together with Prime Minister Modi to promote unwavering special strategic and global partnership even more rigorously. I look forward to welcoming Prime Minister Modi at the Quad Summit in Tokyo. Dhanyawad.
Thank you, Excellency. That concludes the press statements. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Please remain seated as the Honorable Prime Ministers leave the podium. Yes.